I am so excited to tell you that on June 26th, Tuesday, at 10 a.m. Pacific time, I have the tremendous honor to interview Saifedean Ammous, the author of The Bitcoin Standard. The Bitcoin Standard, the decentralized alternative to central banking. This book is important. This book is so great for anybody interested in what is going on with cryptocurrency and crypto economics. This book is a great place to start, okay? I'm going to interview him. I'm going to ask him questions so he can dig deeper into what he talks about in this book. And also, I'll take questions from you. It's a live show. You can ask questions through the chat. I'll take questions when I'm done interviewing him. Also, if you have questions you want me to ask him, put them in the comments below this video. One of the reasons I love Saifedean so much is something Charlie Munger once said. He said, this is not an exact quote, but he said, the person who becomes famous for an idea is not necessarily the person who first thinks about it, the first person to talk about it. It's the person who can present it in the most fundamental way. Saifedean takes economic concepts or talks about money that other economists will explain wonderfully in a book this thick that takes you weeks to read and then your head hurts. Saifedean will explain it in 2 sentences. This book talks about, it's called The Bitcoin Standard, but the first 80% of the book, there's no mention of Bitcoin. It outlines and talks about what money is, how it functions, how an economy functions, and how hard money that can't be debased, how important that is to an economy, to civilization, and gives countless examples throughout history. The history of money is a history of items that start to become used as a store of value and then used to buy things. Whether it was shells or beads or metals, something would be used, and then as it starts to become more and more used and is a more trusted store of value, that incentivizes people to go out and create more of that thing that is used as money. They create more of that, and that debases the value of the currency and ruins the whole economic system that was based on it. And there's so many examples of this. One of his best examples that I thought was just, I can't believe I never learned this in school. I majored in economics at the University of Michigan, and I knew I was missing something, but I wasn't sure what. Well, this book showed me what I'm missing and has pointed me in new directions. Did you know that in 1913, most of the central banks around the world went off the gold standard in order to print money, to steal value from their societies, to get them into World War I. World War I is famous for being one of the stupidest wars of all times. One of the most horrible wars. And Saifedean makes a clear, really lays it out clearly to show, they did. They printed to get them, printing money, debasing currency, made World War I certainly worse than it would have been otherwise. And there's so many more examples in the history of Rome. Another thing that was really eye-opening for me, the manipulation of interest rates is what causes the business cycle, or what I now call it, the credit cycle. Fascinating stuff. I want to do a whole video on that. And also, again, I majored in economics, and really all we learn, other than they teach a little bit about communism, but mostly all you learn is Keynesian economics. And Saifedean rips Keynes a new a-hole. He takes him apart piece by piece, not only his economic philosophies, but personally. Did you know that Keynes never even studied economics? And did you know that Keynes used to travel around the world and reserve boy and bed on his trips? I found that amusing. So there's a lot in this book, and like I said, if you're sort of intimidated and thinking about whenever you try to understand what money is, it's sort of like over your head. This book is where you want to start. And my interview with Saifedean next Tuesday at 10 a.m. is also where you want to start. Don't miss it. Please share this video. Let others know. Okay? I think that's it. I'm really excited, if you couldn't tell. All right? So don't miss it. Put it on your calendar, and I will see you then.